Hello, and a good afternoon, barely afternoon. And we're here in Heather's office with Tender Care Money Manners.
Yes.
Welcome.
Money management.
Money management, sorry.
Money manners is too.
I thought money matters, but I came out manners.
Yes. So, yeah.
So this is Heather.
Hello.
And
oh my goodness.
So number one, she's limping around here because when we were set to interview last week, she tripped, like half an hour before?
Actually, I was heading out my door to walk to my office, and I was so excited. I jumped into a pile of leaves and then landed hard on my ankle.
So she ended up at the doctor's office, and she sent me the picture, and her ankle was ginormous.
Yeah.
So, redo.
Yes. Yay.
Yes.
Thanks for coming back.
Yes. So, tell us what you do.
Well, I am a money coach, which boils down to I work with women who are in charge of their finances, whether they're single or single parent or have a full family and are solo employed. Anybody who is in charge of their money and don't feel like they are in control of it, that it's more in control of them. They're living paycheck to paycheck, or they're making good money but they can't save any of it. Any of that, I work on the foundations to help you learn how to do that stuff for yourself.
Perfect. And what is your background?
My background.
Just back just a hair.
So for those of you out there, I am a late bloomer myself, and I went through many different career choices, but I always was good with numbers. Always aced my accounting classes and everything, and I still had a problem with money myself. So I knew it wasn't about the monies; it was more about the beliefs.
It wasn't about the math.
Yes, and even the money because and even the money because I could make money in my jobs. I just couldn't keep it. So I knew it was something more. And as I was going through all this, I started getting interested in beliefs and behaviors and discovered NLP, which is the study of how you experience things instead of the why, which therapy is more on the why based and trying to understand in that way.
What's NLP?
NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
Okay.
And the neuro is how information is transferred in your body. And
we're here talking about money. You did not think we were going to talk about
and it's all connected. Yes.
Well, you're blowing our minds right now.
Yeah, it's all connected. And thanks for bringing me back to ground here. Yes. So yes.
No, keep going. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. So NLP. So it's the neuro is how you experience information in your body through sight, sounds, and to a lesser extent your feelings. And I actually have to move my hands in order to think. So if you see that's what's going on. And then linguistics is the language that you use to talk to people and share your experience. And then programming, this is the killer part, is that most of our decisions about how to survive in life are put into place by the time we are 5 years old.
Whoa. And
the only type of brain that's online at that point is the one that we share with reptiles, which is, are we surviving? And if we're surviving, the reptile part of the brain says we're doing a good job. We're going to make sure that we keep finding those kinds of experiences so we know that we're still surviving. So anything you survived before 5 and you realize you still have that in your life, that's the critter part of you saying, I'm not sure I'm surviving. I need to go test it out, make sure what I'm doing still works. So if you, with money, you weren't allowed to keep money, or you weren't allowed to keep a toy for yourself. Okay? You always had to share it, and not sharing it was a life-threatening situation in your mind. Doesn't matter what was going on in the real situation. It's
Okay.
just what your experience was. And so if you were experiencing a life-threatening situation about having to share a toy, then later on in life, when you're having problems in your relationship sharing your money and the feelings are the same, it's because of that last and early belief. So when you're trying to change any behavior and it keeps coming back, like you're not having the willpower to make a lasting change,
Okay.
it's because the wiring is still stuck there. So it can be a temporary, but until you rewire, and that's what you do with, or a practitioner would do, is re-trigger, find out what's going on, keep the positive intention,
Okay.
because we do want you to survive, and that was the positive intention, but we want you to do it with better methods. And so we want you to have a good foundation with money, but we also want you to believe you can survive being with your family. If your family didn't have a lot of money growing up, can you survive being rich in that family? The answer is yes. But if you don't address certain things, chances are it's going to be uncomfortable, right?
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, that is very interesting. I'm like, my mind's like,
Yeah.
all the gears are going. Before we get too far along,
Yep.
I did want to talk about one of the first couple times I met you, you were leading the group in a sort of a visualization, almost like a meditation
Right.
about your relationship with money, which was, I thought, fabulous.
Yes.
And you do have that on your website. Is
On
that
my
correct?
website.
So you
Yep.
can actually do
it's
this.
a free.
It's like a guided meditation, kind of feels like, but it's
Yes.
about your relationship with money. So make sure we put the link to that in the comments afterwards.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then the other thing is you had a workshop or something coming up that I wanted to hear
That
about.
so that something that I feel very strongly about is vision boards. If we turn the camera around, you could see my vision board for my work. So I am a high believer in vision boards. I believe that.
I've never made one, but I was just recently someone was talking about them and I was like, maybe I should try it.
Yes. So to start, in answer to your question, I'm postponing. I've canceled the event just because of my accident and everything. Yeah. So
She's going around on the knee on one side, ankle on the other.
It's called being flexible with your
Heather.
life. So.
Are you a vision board person, Heather? Other Heather? Got two Heathers.
Love Heathers. But I am a fan, and it relates to money. And so I had a quote here that I just found on Facebook today. It says, "Follow the path of what you love and discover the voice of your soul."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and that was taken by Karen Hutton, and I'm not sure who she is, but I'm going to look her up after this. But what my thing with money is, money should support your dreams. And when you start doing vision boards, you get more concrete about what you want to have come into your life, right? So the more you start thinking about that and thinking about what you want more of and what you want less of in your life, then you take that and you create an annual plan for your money. Okay, I do this every year. I love this time of year because I kind of think of it as my fallow time.
Okay.
To just think about this stuff and let it come up and sort of bubble up. Oh yeah, I tried this year and it didn't quite work, so maybe I'll do
That's
something
for me
else.
too. I'd say in the last month I've been doing a lot of let me just step back and think and just
and when you think about it
re-examine.
with gardeners or farmers, this was their fallow time where they brought out the seed catalogs and all that stuff. So you're visualizing what you want to experience for next year. So that's one part of the more you can conceive it, the more you can believe it, and the more you can achieve it, right? The famous quote, okay? So when
Who's that quote from?
I think Goethe is one of the originals, and then people have kind of modified it for their purposes, and it's in a lot of Carnegie or somebody might have done it too, but it's like, you can look it up, Google it, you'll find all different kind of versions.
I was like, that sounds familiar, but I don't know where that's from.
The more you can believe and achieve, the more you can conceive and believe, you can achieve.
That makes sense.
Magic. I'll post it because the whole thing is really beautiful.
All right.
Okay. To get back to vision boards and planning your year, well, the more you can envision that, then you start assigning just guesstimates of how much that stuff is going to cost you. Okay?
Okay.
So that you're also envisioning how much money you're going to bring in to support the things that you want to achieve.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how that all ties in. So if you're regularly, I have this set income, and you start thinking about these things, and you start thinking, I can't afford that, I can't afford that. Well, if you do the vision board, and you do an annual plan, and you keep that stuff in your mind, even if you don't know how, because the how is the magic part, you don't need to find the answer to. It just, if it's meant to be, it shows up, right? But the more you do your part, which is the planning and keeping that in the front of your mind, the more likely it's going to happen. And that's my philosophy. And so when I work with people individually, I want to know where they want to go, what they want to achieve. It's not just teaching them how to reconcile their checkbook or learn how to save. And that's the other thing. Most people don't know how to save, and they think the most important thing is paying down your debt, right? But if you have enough assets, which are savings and investments and all that sort of stuff, it doesn't matter how much debt you have because your assets outweigh the debt.
Yeah, I actually carry my student loans because I read somewhere it makes more sense to carry the student loan at the low interest rate and then reinvest the money elsewhere.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people I know are, they're stressed because they have that like looming student debt.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's better to let it ride. I mean, depending on the interest rate, of course.
Yeah. And
yeah. So I do want to wrap it up and not go too long. I feel like that we could just
forever.
sit here. I know the two of us are going to probably talk for another half an hour after we go. But if you have any questions for Heather, please put them on. I see Jamie and I see Gail and I saw my dad was on here.
Lovely.
So
I have a 20-minute free consultation. You can always schedule it through my website or give me a call.
And do you do that virtually as well?
Yes.
In case someone's not local?
I do Zoom. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So she'll post all that stuff within the day onto the bottom. And thanks for watching.
Bye.
Take care.